All of you have a background working with action oriented projects. How do you think that this kind of helps you when you're working with a show like Missing, where it's fast paced, but you have a longer time to tell your story?
Well, it's interesting because it's a longer time to tell the story, but in terms of shooting action and stuff, television versus movies, you have less time.
Yeah.
To actually put this stuff together, so
right.
it's sort of the opposite of what you think it is. But I mean, for me, it was great after being in movies for so long to be somewhere where you were actually doing something all the time.
Yeah.
Every day you get up, you're going. You're not sitting around for 5 hours waiting for somebody.
Your underwear.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was great to just be on the move all the time, and I think that was.
And I will say we're very fortunate. We're in Prague, and we get a call that a guy named Kenny Bates would like to come and meet. And Kenny Bates was the second unit director for Michael Bay. Every Michael Bay movie that's ever been done, Kenny Bates is the second unit director and supported. So we meet with him, and he happens to be living in Prague, and he says he'd like to work on the show.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Pretty serious. So then that kind
We're
of
like, really? We don't really have any money. Like, we have movie money. He's like, I want to do it. I think it'd be fun.
I thought it was a prank.
Once we brought him into the picture, that kind of changed our attitude towards what we could do action-wise. We were able to start thinking bigger, much bigger, and developing sequences and even little story points with him. We come up with a ballpark idea of what the sequence should be, how it should end, and then run it.
He would make it a million times better.
Yeah, so that was a big game changer for us.
Well, you have such a great cast. How do you make such a good use of the talent you have, but still make it compelling and utilize them in a way that moves the story forward?
I'll start this one. Yeah, well, I think what's important is, even though you see the show as it's a thriller and it's got all this great action, Greg can speak to this at length as well. The very first thing we always talked about when we got into the writer's room is, what is the story about emotion? What's going on with our characters? What is the drama in their lives? What's happening to them emotionally? So everything we wanted to do, we wanted to come from that place. Because then you can put the bells and whistles on top of it.
Right, we actually had a rule in the writer's room that before we could start talking about plot at all, we had to identify what the emotional theme of that episode was, and then everything else would come from
It was really cool.
the action and everything.
It's great because
And the core of the concept is extremely emotional.
A lot of people were speculating and saying,
So I think it just
Sean dies
grows out
again,
from there.
of course,
Whenever
someone
just
was like,
doing
well, in Goldeneye,
action and
he
story
died
just
right
for
away.
story's sake.
That's a great point. And even when you think about sort of the structure, after episode 4, the fact that Paul is alive and the betrayal from that, it just again gives this, intrigue, this thriller, this spy thriller, an emotional weight, because it's not just a faceless, nameless. It's the man that you love, that you thought was dead for the last 10 years of your life, and now he's alive. What has happened? What's going on? So it just changes the show. And again, what a great use of Sean Bean. And you have Adriano Giannini. And how do you not write to a love affair rather than him just being the Interpol agent helping her? What's their story? What's the emotion and who they were when they were in love and she betrayed her family? So, it's fun. We want you have great actors. You got to give them something to do. Cliff Curtis, he has to have an emotional backstory with his family. Then, when she first meets him, she says, I know, I can tell everything I need to know about you. You don't have children. And then you realize in episode 2 he does. But he's so detached from them that even a great spy like Becca would read him as being childless. So and in the journey of the show, he will learn what it means to be a parent through her. So again, he's not just the CIA agent tracking her down. He's got
an emotional story.
And speaking of Sean Bean, after he just came off Game of Thrones and had that shocking end for people who didn't read the book, then he comes on with you guys, and people are left and I just saw a lot of things all over internet, like, oh my God, what do people have against Sean Bean? Like, why are they
Well, I
after
just
him?
wanted to see if we could set the record for how quickly we killed him off in the series.
That took Game of Thrones a whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I read today, which I had never really realized, was that Game of Thrones, King's Landing is also shot in Dubrovnik. So
Yeah.
he had his head.
Yes, right.
He had his head chopped off in Dubrovnik, and then the next season he came back to life in Dubrovnik. So it's
You
sort
have
of
to
an odd-
tweet that.
Yeah, it's sort of an odd little quirk.
Love
It's
that.
definitely a beautiful